This is a meeting continuation from September 3rd, 2025 till today, September 8th, 2025. And at this time, we're going to go ahead and have the city clerk call the roll, please. Hold on.
Commissioner Villa-Vasquez.
Present.
Commissioner Caldwell. Here. Commissioner Howington.
Here.
Commissioner Santiago.
Here.
Vice Mayor Harriet.
Present.
Mayor Villa.
Here. This time, I'd invite Commissioner Avila Vasquez of District 3 to lead us in invocation, the pledge, and the honoring of the veterans.
Thank you, Mayor. If we can all please bow our heads and do a little prayer, actually a big prayer. Thank you, everyone. And I would like to invite anyone in the audience who is a veteran to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Edwin La Santa, the only one I can think of right now.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our veterans that were supposed to be recognized today could not make it to the meeting today, so their commander from the bikers picked up their certificate on Friday, and they were presented to them at their monthly meeting.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Avila Vasquez. And those were Liam Bowman from the United States Army and Cesar Martinez, also from the United States Army. All right, this time we're going to go to additions and deletions, and I believe our city attorney, you're on.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Item 9A, Ordinance 32-2025. The applicant in that matter has requested it be deferred to a date certain of October 20th. If I could please get a motion and a second from the commission to that effect.
Commissioner Santiago?
So moved.
Okay, can you do an actual motion, please?
I make a motion to, yes, we want to extend 9A to the meeting on October 20th.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Caldwell?
I second.
Okay, if we can, as soon as the iPads are ready, we're going to go ahead and vote. Or we can just do a verbal vote, make it easier. All in favor? Aye. Aye. All opposed? All right.
Thank you.
So we're removing 9A as an alpha, just for clarification. All right. Presentations, awards, and reports. We got Ms. Barker, sorry. We're going to Deltona Community Events. If you can also please get on your mic.
Okay, we have quite a few events going on this month. First, this Friday night is our monthly Bonkers comedy show over at the center. As always, tickets are only $8 if you buy them in advance. And then this Saturday, the 13th, we're bringing back the Festivals of Nations with the Hispanic Chamber. That's going to be here at City Hall, outside in the courtyard. There is going to be cultural performances, cultural food. We used to do this, but kind of faded away during COVID, and so we're bringing it back bigger and better than ever, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Also on Saturday night is our amphitheater concert series, so you can have some music in the daytime and then go over to the amphitheater for a blues band at night, 7 p.m., free event, Frank Bang and the TNT Horns. And then next Friday night, the 19th, we are having our movie in the park. We're showing Twisters. That's the 2024 version of the movie. We were supposed to show it last month, but it was rained out, so we're bringing it back this month. It's over at Campbell Park. As always, it's a free event, and there's free popcorn and lemonade as well while supplies last. And then On the 20th, we have our yearly storm drain markup event. So we're looking for volunteers. If you'd like to volunteer, you can reach out to Sonia Clay in the Public Works Department. It's 8 a.m. They're going to meet in the Deltona Plaza there on Deltona Boulevard. And then also on the 20th, this is a VEMA event. They did it last year. They're doing it again this year. It's a car and bike show. And it's to bring awareness to veterans suffering from PTSD. So this is, like I said, on the 20th, a Saturday, also at Deltona Boulevard, at the Deltona Plaza, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And there's a lot going on that day because it's also the day of the Latin Fest, and the Hispanic Association is putting on this event, and this is always a very popular, huge event, live music, food vendors, drink vendors. This event is a ton of fun. And as always, if anybody has any events that they would like to share with the community, let me know. cbarker@deltonafl.gov.
Thank you, Ms. Barker. At this time, we're going to go to section 7A. If I can please have the city attorney read section 7A, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So I'll be reading into the record both item 7A, which is resolution number 2025-121, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Deltona, Florida, establishing a proposed operating millage rate of ad valorem taxation for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2025, and ending September 30th, 2026, providing for scrivener's errors and an effective date, as well as the agenda item for 7B, which is resolution number 2025-122, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Deltona, Florida, adopting the tentative budget for each of several funds and departments of the city for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2025, and ending September 30th, 2026, approving the tentative capital improvement plan, providing for appropriation and procedures, providing for scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date. So procedurally, you may have a collective discussion on both the millage rate and the budget, but you will need to take a separate vote on each at the end.
Thank you. At this time, before moving forward, I'll entertain a motion and a second so we can enter into discussion. Vice Mayor Harriet.
I'd like to make a motion to request approval of resolution number 2025-121, adopting the tentative millage for fiscal year 2025-2026, with one change, that the millage rate be 6.75, which is 0.05 higher than what is presented to us.
Just a point of clarification, it's on there for 6.75, correct? Yes, sir. It's already on there.
Then what's the,
That's the old, you have the old.
then
Just
I
go on your
continue with
iPad.
my motion,
Okay.
6.75.
Commissioner Santiago?
Second.
Okay. At this time, we'll listen to public comment, and because both items, even though we have to vote on them separately, we'll do, yes,
And
please.
Sorry, if I may, Mr. Mayor, the motion needs to be read as 6.75 per 1,000, just per state statute.
Hold on. Go ahead and click on your mic.
Do we have the,
It's right there. Click on that.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-121, adopting the City of Deltona fiscal year 2025-2026 tentative millage rate of 6.75 mils per $1,000 evaluation.
Commissioner Santiago, you're still good with your second? Okay. Joyce?
Courtney Cross-Burgos, please.
And you can leave your mic on if you'd like, City Clerk. Miss Courtney Cross-Burgos, when you get on, just click on the mic so I can turn it on, please.
There we go. Good evening. I'm concerned about the 6.75. Last, it was up for 6.7, and Commissioner Harriet did bring it up at the budget workshop, wanting to raise it for clearing out the lakes and things, but it was never a consensus. It was never a vote because it was a workshop. So I understand Doc changed it, but I don't understand why when that's not even been discussed thoroughly or voted on. And again, we haven't gotten much input for these budget workshops or meetings because nobody seems to care this year. But it's extremely frustrating. I did finally get a detailed line item, so Joyce doesn't have to do the PRR because I still didn't get that, but I did find it. And there's a lot of asks in there that are definite wants, not needs. And before you approve it tonight, I think you guys really need to look at that. There's a lot of money we could cut, which then maybe we could take the millage back down a little bit. I don't know, but I can tell you personally, you guys are pricing me out of Deltona. I can't afford to live here anymore. So, you know, I hope you take it seriously. Forget the mayor's trip, forget the moratorium, forget the SB 180. Concentrate on our budget. This is what counts to us. The other stuff is important, but this is important now, and it has to be done by October. So we need you to really take a close look at all these asks that are in there. And remember, it's your money too, and I think everybody here is having a hard time this year. Anyway, I would like an explanation why it went to 6.75 without any discussion, please.
Thank you. David Sosa, please.
All right, David Sosa. All right, I'm opposed to the 6.75. I believe we do have to go back to the rollback rate. We've been promised rollback rate for 3 years now, and we've yet to see it. Okay, now, if I've got all this information, it's for all the taxes for each municipality. There's 18 municipalities in Volusia County, including the county, and guess who's in the top 3 for the highest tax bracket? City of Deltona. We're in the top 3 highest tax bracket. Okay, now that's just in ad valorem taxes. When we come to stormwater, from the research I've done, we're the highest. And that's without you guys increasing it another 11-12% this year. And what have we seen for those increases from last year? Last year you had probably the highest increase I've ever seen. And then this year, you kind of circumvented the process of notifying the residents that you're going up by undercutting the amounts to where you didn't have to notify them. I thought that was kind of despicable, but that's just me. Okay. Now, folks are already having a hard time. We'll probably have a presentation. We'll say taxes aren't going up that much, but in reality, they are. You'll probably have somebody cherry pick 3 or 4 different examples, maybe mine, for instance, where I'm only going to see a $100 increase. But across the board, I know I have a friend that called me over the other day to explain why is his going up over $1,100. And I'm sure there's a lot of folks in the same boat where their taxes are going up over $1,000. Me, I've been here for 25 years. I'm homesteaded. I've got Save Your Homes. I'm going to get killed on your stormwater assessments and your trash fees because those are going up. Okay. Now, one other thing, you have it advertised here as a 3% increase, but when I do the numbers, 24-25 actual, was $33,799,900. Your projected increase this year is up to $36,369,252. When you divide that, guess what you get? 7%, not 3%. So we're not doing a 3% increase. We're doing a 7% increase over last year's. Okay, now we've got a lot of folks, they're already deciding, do I eat today? Do I buy my prescriptions? We have a lot of folks here that are, retired, fixed incomes. We have younger families coming up. Are we going to displace them out of Deltona? I already know so many people moving. You could drive down any street, and guess what you see on any street nowadays? For sale signs. Don't tax people out of their houses.
Thank you. Elbert Bryan, please.
Albert Bryan, Deltona. I've been standing at this podium for 10 years doing this, and I can honestly say that I've yet to see a full rollback in 10 years. I've been promised for the last 5 years that we'd see it. Haven't seen it yet. But this is the first year I can honestly say that if I took $4 million just out of Parks and Recs, I could go to full rollback plus. Full rollback plus. But we're worried about beautifying the parks rather than fixing stormwater. We're worried about beautifying our parks rather than fixing the streets. We're worried about fixing our parks that really don't need to be fixed. It seems like we spent $14 million in the last 3 years on parks. That's a lot of money. What have we gotten for it? Oh, the grass is a little bit greener. Oh, but that's about it. But if you really, truly take and dig into the budget, when you see an 8,000% increase just in one item, that's the reason why we can't take and go to full rollback. When you see a 200% increase in items, 500%, 600%, 350%. When we see that commissioners aren't paying attention when we stand up here and talk, that's the reason why this is going up. Because they're not paying attention to us at all, period.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Stop, I'm talking. I know you're doing your job.
Continue
but
talking,
I'm
sir.
talking.
Don't.
We have a real issue here. We really do. Y'all need to pay attention what's in that budget book. I mean, what's really in that budget book. I've done this budget for over 10 years now, and this is the worst fluff I have ever seen. The worst that I've ever seen in this budget. And I've been doing this 10 years. I lived through Mr. Cooper. I lived through Jane Shine, who always put fluff in it, always, so she could move the stuff around. But this one takes the cake. I've seen more fluff in this than any law should ever allow. Now, if y'all were smart, if y'all were really smart, you would demand, and I mean demand, that the audit comes sooner than later, and it includes this budget. Because I think you would find that there's a hoax that's being pulled over your eyes. At the end of the day, what do we all want? We want the best for these people. That's what we all want. And I haven't seen it yet. In any budget I've looked at over the last 10 years, I have yet to see it. I've gotten better fire services. I've gotten better police services. My parks are immaculate. We don't need to spend $8 million in parks. Now, I understand you have to pay for impact fees and put those out there. I understand that. But that's $4 million. That should be enough to cover anything you want to put in the parks this year. We have a duty, or you have a duty, to do the right thing. You should be at 5.75 this year, not 6.7.
Thank you. Brandy White, please.
lot of good points that were already touched on, so I'm just going to go through a couple solutions instead, because nobody wants to hear about how we've been jacked again. First, I'd like to address, why wasn't this a zero-based budget that not only was requested, but stated would occur? And I brought an extra backbone because some of you guys have lost yours and lost your minds to think that this is okay to not have any type of repercussions for insubordination like that. But moving on. There was a general fund transfer that includes $4.25 million, I believe it was, for park projects. I believe to create some transparency here, I'm going to give you guys some suggestions. For that, specifically, we need a project level ledger with milestones. The general fund interest nearly doubled, so debt services need some explaining and tied to specific projects. To fix that, we need to know which projects increased interest and what's the plan to stabilize that. I also have a question about a $75,000 charge for the Ordinance Review Committee. I asked about that before in an email and nobody responded to that, so I'm assuming it's one of those emails that never occurred. For some practical oversight on the two big spending things that we have, like litigation and the audit, we need scopes, timelines, and preferably the cost along the way to keep with transparency and all. For the center, once again, we're seeing a huge loss of over $500,000. So I'm wondering, why haven't we already implemented quarterly P&L? And for those who don't understand that, it's a profit and loss, right? So revenues by event type, utilization, what's your target goal, and ways that we're going to close that gap, because it only seems to continue. We've yet to see any type of profit from this place. Also, regarding transparency, things like transfers and capital, we need start and finish dates along with the grant match requirements. I'd also like to invite each and every one of you to come with me on your own time at any point and meet an older lady that I helped named Patricia. She's going to be 85 years old this year, and she's on a fixed income. Guess who's not going to be afford this increase? She can't even afford to do the repairs on her home that's falling apart. Her income to debt ratio is so small, and at 85 years old and visually impaired, there's no way to bring in more money. You guys realize this, right? There's actually people out here that have no way to bring in more income. And I invite you to meet her, because she's not going to be here much longer if you continue to do this. There is so much, and it's already been said, fluff in this budget. I can't believe none of y'all are even talking about cuts. Like, oh, I reviewed it, here's what we can do. Oh, here's a way we can make it more transparent. We're going to provide these things for you guys. None of that. And I watched back to all the meetings I didn't go to. I haven't just walked away. I just don't waste my time here because it's pointless.
Thank you. Gail Barr, please.
Hi. I'm sure most of you know my name. My name is Gail Barr, but I'm not here to talk about the last meeting that I spoke that nobody was up there. I'm not here to speak about that tonight. But you haven't heard the end of that one. What I am here to speak about tonight is an item that should be in the budget under the garbage. I was wondering if we could have at least one dumpster or more dumpsters to put in big TV boxes, computer boxes, so that we don't put those boxes in front of our houses and let everybody know we bought an 85-inch TV or a new computer, come in and get it. Those boxes are recyclable. A lot of things from Amazon, we all get boxes. I get it almost every day, something from Amazon, and I'm sure all of you do too. I have a list of things that are recyclable from Amazon that we could probably put in a dumpster for the recyclables. I know we don't recycle, and I've heard the reason why, but I still feel very strongly, if the city cares about the future, that we do something with these cardboard boxes and bubble-lined plastic bags and the packing paper that comes in. I get boxes for a little thing, a big box, and a lot of paper in there. Well, we don't have to throw it in the garbage if we have something more reliable to put into to save the planet. And that is my part, and I am not here to talk about how there was nobody up there when I spoke to the chair at the last meeting. I am not here to talk about that tonight.
Thank you. Catherine Gallagher, please.
Hi, Catherine Gallagher. I think we need the full rollback. We really do. I'm finding that the overall total budget has doubled. I think that's absolutely insane. Line items, city commissioner line items such as travel, promo, overtime, et cetera, they should be no more than 5–10%. And why are we scamming the citizens for 32% and up? It's excessive. You need to do better. You need to cut things so that it's not over and above a normal percentage. How about a 240% increase in the city manager travel budget? Let's drop that down to maybe 20% instead. Shame on you. What is that for? Limos, armored cars, 30 more trips? Like what? So how about city clerk recognition? $1,775. That's more than triple also. Communications department. Why has professional services and overtime gone up over 200%? Same for recognitions. Shame on you. This is out of control spending. Code compliance, recognitions, fire admin, fire ops, that's tripled. This is disgusting, disgusting. None of these are acceptable. They're all excessive. Do better. Thank you.
Thank you. Pat Blodgett, please.
Okay. Most of you commissioners, in fact, all of you commissioners, I like, but I don't like what you're doing to us. City must think that the residents are stupid. Originally, the city manager promised to zero balance last year's budget this year. What happened? This was requested by the commissioners last year. And if we have Doge audit, it will save us $500,000. I emailed all of you questions that I had on the budget last Monday. As of now, I haven't gotten one answer. Do you not get your emails? Do you not respond to the people? Recognitions. She was just talking about recognitions. They went from $67,600 to $165,759. What are you doing? What are you giving these people? Also, please explain to us, under their budget for city commissioner, what other charges are. It goes from $620,000 to $6,089,551. What is it? Also, special pay. What is that? You know, you have a lot of things in the budget that you're just not explaining to us, and you just want us to accept this. It's not acceptable. We live on a fixed income, and a lot of us do, and we just can't afford all this fluff. And I don't know, maybe you can, but we can't.
Thank you. Albert Bryant, please. Oh, I'm sorry.
We're going to have two for each.
Yeah, one for each item. Kathy Bryan, please.
Is this for 7B?
Yes, we're doing them together, right?
Both A and B.
I didn't hear that discussed. You have advertised as two different things. How can that be legal?
Kathy Bryan, Deltona. Budget-wise, you know, there was some discussion at the workshop about moving money from Parks and Recs over to some of the other stuff that's really needed. And it was argued that, well, no, these parks and recs need to be cleaned up, this, that, and the other. And the transparency that comes about is pitiful. So you've got extra weeds in the lake. Why do you think that is? Is it from fertilizer, et cetera? I asked a while ago about educating the public on when to fertilize, when to water. That's a contributing factor that we could control or try to control. Supposedly, we've got plenty of money in the stormwater budget, but we can't shift anything around for the stuff that we really, really need. And then there's the transparency, the lack thereof, where we've asked before for things like, give us a list of the projects you're working on, when they're complete. I just recently asked for one out at the gardens. The other lady that works at the gardens, Marcy, recently had asked for one. We have no idea that it's done or why things are being done. So when people come up here and gripe because it's because you're not explaining, you're not being transparent. Maybe if you work better with people on where the money's going and how it's being used, even into the budget season, once you're using that, maybe that would help with public relations a little bit. But you guys seem more focused on piddly stuff rather than worrying about your citizens and how we feel about the budget, et cetera. And I'm going to agree with Catherine Gallagher. Y'all need to do a better job because you're not representing your citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. Tim Blodgett, please.
Good evening. Okay. Deltona has roughly a population of seniors of about 17.6%. This year, I am going to be graced with a cost of living increase of 2.7%. That's going to pay for your 7% increase in my tax bill that I got on my little notification. I don't know where you guys get this 3%, but it ain't happening. Okay, so I was blessed with two sons that are computer whizzes. One works for Schwab, and the other one works for Apple. And just for grins and giggles at dinner the other night, they decided to run a free software program, which I will give you, Commissioner Howington. And I was able to look up, ask it a question about Deltona. And it zeroed in on everything that you guys are doing wrong. Some of it I know about, and it's justified. Some of it wasn't justified. And it asked questions like, okay, if we're paying millions and millions and millions of dollars to the sheriff's office, why are we paying them an additional $900,000 for serving papers? Isn't that part of their duties? I mean, what do they do with the rest of the millions? Everybody else has given all sorts of examples, so I'm not going to go over that again. You're pushing us out. I was just kind of wondering why it is you hate the seniors. I don't understand it. I mean, are you not aware that we're on fixed incomes? Are you not aware that we're only going to get the COLA that comes out from the government, not whatever other financial indicators that you follow for however you came up with this stuff? So I'm getting 2.6%. I was looking at the whole budget. I was looking at all of the perks that the employees get. They get 100% medical care. Wow, nobody's gotten that since the 80s. They get, there's all sorts of pay them for this, pay them for that. I mean, it seems like if you wipe your butt around here, you're going to get an award for it. Personally, I used to reward my employees after they did something, not the year before in the budget that was coming up. I don't know. It doesn't look like a Deltona budget. It looks like it's a fluff budget from Lake Mary. And we don't live in Lake Mary. Everybody keeps talking about, oh, well, we're a big city. We got to do this, we got to do that. Do we have a homeless shelter? No. No, we give donations to Daytona, and then they take care of it. Do we have a women's shelter? Nope. We give a bunch of money out, and somebody else takes care of it. Do we have a food bank? No, we let the church take care of that. Do we produce stuff for the handicapped in Braille? No, we don't seem to do that either. So I don't know anything else to say other than, folks, you're fired.
Thank you, sir. Matt Burgens?
I'm Matt from Deltona. Keep this very short. Most people have come up here and talked about very small examples or very large examples, gone through everything. We contract a lot of our IT stuff. I've talked about it a lot of times. Security IT. We contract it out, but yet we have a very large budget of small tools for IT. Not sure what that's about. So if we're contracting it out, we do a lot of contract with law enforcement, but we pay for their equipment. Not sure why don't they bring their own equipment if we're contracting it out. So that's one of my concerns. My biggest reason for coming up here speaking is actually with you, Mayor. You spoke to me and told me that you're going to do a full rollback next year. If we're going to do it next year, why can't we do it this year? And that has me concerned. That's my biggest reason. And that kind of hurt me, is if we can do it next year, why not this year? And that hurt. As being a Deltona person, I work with everybody on both sides here. I don't think there's one side versus the other side. I worked with almost everybody up there on the board. I worked with you, Mayor. I worked with Vice Mayor. I worked with Dory. I worked with almost everybody on there. You know, I see that we helped the veterans. We worked with the American Legion, not very much of the VFW. But I worked with everybody up there. I think everybody wants to try to make Deltona better. But when I heard that comment, that hurt me very much in my heart. I've been in Deltona since I graduated at Pine Ridge. And so 20 years, 25 years, and that hurt me. So that, if we can't do a full rollback this year, then we shouldn't be able to do it next year either. So what's the difference? So I really urge you to really look at it. If we can't do it this year, then what's the difference of next year? And that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Taylor Nealer, please.
How you guys doing today? Good? Not a word back? I've lived in Deltona since '97, and it has slowly been getting very hard for me and my family. I brought my kids up here today to show you guys what you're pushing out, okay? My family's lived here longer than '97, but I was born in '97. So I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I'm not really political, this isn't my thing, but I'm just showing you, I'm showing face, just so you guys show. This is what you guys are doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor, that ends public comments.
Mr. McKinney, and then we'll go to commissioner comments.
Mayor, Commission, how are y'all this evening?
Can't hear him.
Sorry. Mayor, Commission, good evening. I'd like to start first with a short presentation that summarizes the budget for the proposed budget for fiscal year 25-26.
We can't hear him.
Can you hear me now?
Mr. McKinney, just put the mic closer to you. We need to stop with the outburst, please. Use that other microphone. Click on it, please, and I'll turn it on. Try now.
Sorry, Mayor, I used the mic that
Better.
I was provided.
That's better.
The fiscal year 2025-2026 budget overview. The citywide total operating budget is $245,683,379. That takes into account all the grants that we've received, whether it was for Catalina and Elk Cam Boulevard, the DEP grant for the enhancements with sewer, et cetera. So this is your all-in budget. Your general fund budget is set at $77,197,638. We are balanced at 6.75. In next year's budget, we have investments in capital of $77.9 million for capital improvement projects and $8.5 million in capital outlay. Here's a snapshot of your overall budget, the sources of funding, the transfers in, transfers out, the anticipated debt proceeds if required, and their uses by personnel services, operating expenditures, capital outlay, and debt service, and then the transfers out. As we went through the budget process this year, we talked about the fact that we needed to do several things. We had to, number one, start with a zero-based budget. The definition of zero-based budget is it requires every expense to be justified for each period starting from a zero base. Every department met with the city manager, the deputy city manager, and myself, along with Keong and Tori, and they had to go line by line of everything that increased or decreased. Majority of the items that increased was either by policy, related to personnel policies and procedures, or it had to do with items that were commodities that have gotten more expensive. A gallon of gas is more today than it was 5 years ago. The cost of insurance, we would say, keep going up, but in this case, we went back during the budget process and we put out an insurance bid. That item will be coming to you for approval the first meeting in October. That went down. So we've also took steps. It was brought up about the assessments. We brought to the commission the fact that it costs well over $30,000 a year to send out the mailings. So we brought a cost measure that's compliant with state statute that allows us to put it as part of the trim notice. So your department's finance staff have all looked at all the various items that could be reduced. The other things that and I'll go through this here in a minute, but we had to create the new funds. We also wanted to be very transparent. There's a lot of comments that were made regarding the fleet cost went up. Since this year, fleet was borne by the general fund almost entirely. By creating an internal revenue service fund to track it, now every department, whether you're in Deltona Water, Stormwater, general fund, building inspections, everyone has to pay their fair, equitable share based on their actual vehicle. It's no more borne just in the general fund. We took other steps to make sure that we were transparent, where the city manager had 3 separate divisions all lumped into one. So going forward, it would be very clear to see exactly what the city manager's budget versus communication versus economic development, et cetera. So yes, it looks odd this year, but going into next year, it's very clear. We were also, because we're looking at the fire assessment fee, is we were required in talking to Benish, the consultant that's working on that, we have to be very clear on what fire admin versus operations versus transport. It will only make it easier as we move forward through this process. So everything that we've done, I know it looks like a big hit and change. I have it in detail, and I've made sure since February 3rd, everything can be found on anything and everything that the Finance Department has put out there. It's 100% available to anyone and everyone within Deltona at any time. So I just want to just hone in on, then as a result, with everything that we've, with everything that we've done, we've also been able to show a declining millage rate over the last few years. This is from staff tightening the belts. This is from us completing projects that have come off. This is for us being more, when we go to look at a vehicle. I know we've looked at F-150s in the past. We've been able to put people in Mavericks or other smaller vehicles. That has a savings not only on the acquisition cost, but also on the cost of operations. So we've made everyone justify. If someone for next year's budget had requested an F-150 or an Explorer, they had to first justify why they needed a vehicle of that size. We also have due this Thursday, we put a quote out for every white fleet, which is a plain F-150, Maverick, et cetera. It went out to all 3 Ford dealerships here in the county. Mullinax, Gary Ullman's, and the one in Delane. I apologize, I don't know the name. So we've gone above and beyond to make sure that we are complying with the directives provided by Commission. In all of that, we have still been able to reduce the millage over the original 6.95 that you voted on for maximum millage. By state statute, when we're talking about the 3.06, that's the increase over rollback. The rollback is 6.5494. So with a recommended millage this evening at 6.75, that's 3.06 over rollback. When you voted for maximum millage at 6.95, getting my calculator here, Mayor. If you take 6.95 divided by the rollback, at no time were we ever more than 6.11% as a potential increase over last year. But that is always based on rollback. All the math, all the percentages are always based off the number over rollback. Your general fund, Mayor. We went through it line by line. Here is the adopted 24-25 budget versus the proposed 25-26 proposed budget. I just want to point out just on a couple of items on your commission budget. I would welcome the opportunity to meet with the public. I've answered several emails that I've received over the last few months. Mayor, there's nothing over $1 million in your budget. You have $1 million set aside for litigation and $343,000 for economic development, other initiatives. That was the AHAC. But then we moved that per your directive to the non-departmental in the same line that we put the Amazon tax rebate. So again, I would welcome any meeting with any member of the public to go over the line item details that was stated this evening. The ordinance review of $75,000 that was done earlier during the workshop process where we were asked by consensus to put money aside. The fraud and compliance audit bid, that money is set aside. We've discussed on several meetings what the cost was. We put the $500,000 in the budget for that. The bids we put out, we had mentioned, I had mentioned at several meetings regarding the scope of service. I've not received anything from the commission, Mayor, from anyone on that, but we did go out there and look at other bids that were put out there, use that scope because it's pretty similar to here in Deltona. Those bids are due on October the 13th. So we do have currently out on the street a bid for the fraud and compliance audit. Yes, sir. So one of the biggest items on our budget is our public safety. Our public safety here within Deltona is our police, which is contracted with the sheriff's office, fire, and code enforcement. That's 57% of our budget. From this year to last year, it increased $1.9 million. And we'll talk more about that in a second. Another thing that was asked was regarding the project review monthly. Going into next fiscal year, the three of us here plus another member of the finance staff have put together an entire project monthly report that will give you the answers to the city manager that was actually spoken by the individual earlier. I'd be more than happy to share that. These are all things that are in the works that we've been working on with Doc and the deputy city manager so that we can go into next fiscal year being transparent. We already put a monthly financial report, as I promised to you, every month by the 20th. I was a day late last month, I apologize. But ever since we started doing that in March, we've been posting those monthly financials out on the city website. I just want to point out here, Mayor, that if I was to remove the transfers out, which is for the bottom line, which is basically general government, if we were to remove all the transfers out that fund CIP, the capital outlay, and the other items that don't belong in any one department, then our budget would have only increased by $2.2 million or 4.03% over the prior year. From May 3rd to current, we've been provided with 9 major items that has a huge budgetary impact to the city budget. We were required to put aside money for AHAC, and I brought 3 examples on how to fund that back in May. So that's $343,000 in next year's budget. At the last workshop, August 25th, by consensus of everyone that was of the commission that was at the meeting, they voted to raise it for us to put the budget together from 6.7 to 6.75, which is $269,000 difference, and that's for the seed money to start an enhanced level of stormwater lake remediation, similar to what we do at Lake McGarity, that is a special assessment. We were also asked to set aside for future debt reduction that the general fund's responsible for, which is the center, of $333,000. $500,000 for the fraud and compliance audit. And I did provide a copy for each of y'all this evening. Here's the historical last year, 10 years of audit comments. So with the changes in leadership, whether at the city manager level, finance level, or whatnot, which does typically require is a higher risk for your auditors, we've had about the cleanest 10-year history you could possibly have in any government of this size. This budget has an additional $1 million of litigation. We have quite a few outstanding litigations out there that, based on the estimated cost from your attorneys, that we're required to put that money aside because it's deemed going to come to fruition. Since the July workshop, the city manager has been provided consensus to add 2 additional code compliance officers. That cost is just under $150,000. And we also will be required to outfit them with 2 vehicles. Those vehicles do not have the animal control boxes on the back. We've budgeted $72,000. But again, that's one of the items that we believe doesn't warrant a full-size F-150. So we're looking at Mavericks, and that's going to come in probably at around $60,000 fully outfitted. Again, as I stated previously, we have bids coming back this Thursday, or quotes, so we're going to confirm that. So all these 9 items are a little over $4.3 million. Oh, one of the other things, I apologize, I missed two items. You also gave us for the budget the allowance to add 6 additional firefighters. We're only budgeting 75% of them because we're not looking to hire them till January of next year for the enhanced level of transport services within the city. That's going to have a total cost for next year of $534,000. In addition to that, we recently, back in June, applied for a SAFER grant that we're hoping to fund that over a 3-year period. So we put the money for the grant in next year's budget to help fund that. And then finally on this page, as stated, the Sheriff's Department, we contract with them for our police services. Their increase was $1.15 million. If you go back and look at what was done by the committee at the county level, we were looking to see an increase upwards of over $20 million. So the sheriff came in based on the law enforcement millage that's out there. It's only increased it to the little over 15 million or $1.1 million. So these are all items that we either are contractually required to, or during the budget process, we got consensus to move forward in putting this budget as presented this evening. We have also looked at reductions. There were 12 open positions that have been open for the entire fiscal year of 24-25. Those were eliminated. They were not filled positions, vacant. That's over $1 million. The 9 of those positions were in the general fund, and that had a savings of $772,000 to the general fund specifically. In this year's budget, there are some key capital funded by the general fund. As I stated, May 3rd, all capital outlay, all CIP was funded by prior year set-asides. We set aside the money annually by policy for the capital, for the vehicle replacement. And then because we have had so much reserves left over the last few years, it was directed that we were to fund all of this via fund balance. So there was no impact to any of the capital that is in next year's proposed budget coming from ad valorem proceeds for the current fiscal year. The total funded capital is $6.5 million. This evening is one of 2 required public hearings to set the budget. In order to pass a millage rate, there must be a passage by resolution. If there is no resolution passed for the budget, whether tentative or final, you do not go back to rollback. Per state statute, a taxing authority may only levy a millage if a resolution is passed by both the tentative and the final millage. So this process this evening is dictated by the state statutes, that is.
Thank you, Mr. McKinney. Commissioner Avila Vasquez, you're on the board.
Thank you, Mayor. Actually, I'm going to scratch one question. It was answered. I just have a question that I overheard a comment. I have 2 agenda. Which is the updated one? Thank you.
Any other comments, questions from Commissioner Howington?
Thank you, Mayor. So I initially had a PowerPoint presentation, but that gave Doc some angst, so I'm not going to put that up tonight, but I will talk about it. Tonight we're discussing whether or not we consider a full rollback at 6.5494 or the proposed rate of 6.75. For the record, yes, I did vote for the lake cleaning. However, I did not agree at that time to a 6.7 versus 6.75 millage rate. I have been asking for a full rollback from the beginning. This new rate represents 3.06% increase, or $1.1 million over the rollback rate. I ran some graphs this week as I was prepping for the meetings, which I have here, and I'm happy to share them with anybody. But as you can see, we have doubled our costs over the past 10 years, specifically starting in 2022. I don't know what happened in 2022, but we started spending like crazy. And as we know, to get back to full rollback, it's what you spent the prior year plus inflation. So every year we're growing that money. And so when we've grown since COVID nearly 200%, I have to question, what are we doing? How can we not run this city more efficiently? I've offered ideas. I've offered options. They seem to fall on deaf ears. I'm asking once again, looking at how we've increased our spending, I've ran this by resident as well as the total expenditures. And it's the same trend. So I can't justify this. I cannot justify continuing to take more and more money from our residents. We can't afford the government we have, and our residents deserve to be able to afford their government. I have a resident that's house burned down because he couldn't afford his electric bill. And his house caught on fire trying to cook himself food. I've had elderly residents reach out and say that they can't afford to put food on the table and begged me not to raise the tax rate. I can't justify this. We have to figure it out. I've provided options, but obviously it's up to this board of 6 now, because number 7 left the city because he can't afford to live here anymore. So I'm asking everybody to please take these things into account. Our residents can no longer afford to live here. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Harriet, and then Commissioner Villa-Vasquez.
Interesting comment at the end. I talked with a resident after the meeting last week that was concerned because his trim notice said that he had a $1,100 increase or over $1,000 increase to his tax bill. After looking at the actual line item increases on his tax bill, only $30 of that was because of Deltona. And that trim notice was issued at 6.95 mils. When you calculate it out to 6.75, he actually had a lower tax bill, or would have a lower tax bill next year than he did this year. We're voting on next year's budget. So I hear everybody, but Deltona is not the only taxing authority on your trim notice. When your tax bill is going up $1,000 or it's going up a couple $1,000s, you've got to look at the line for Deltona. If you look at the line for Deltona, that is the only line that this commission has any influence and control over. And every single trim notice that I have seen or looked at, when calculated out at 6.75, is going down. There was a Facebook post last week or the week before last where somebody made a comment about their tax bill going up, and there was the overwhelming majority of comments on there said, well, my tax bill's going down. So not saying that we govern by Facebook, we don't, but that's for a group of residents where it's the easiest place to complain about something. And their comments were overwhelmingly, my tax bill's going down. I also know some residents that have left Deltona recently, actually quite a few of them, and a couple of them that are in the process of leaving. And it's not because of their tax bill going up. It's actually because the quality of life here is significantly less than what they would expect. They want more investment into parks. They want better roads. They want the stormwater fixed. Everybody wants these things, but that has to be paid for. There was a comment about how immaculate our parks are. I disagree. I think that we have a lot of work to do on our parks to bring them up to the standard that our residents expect. I think that this budget does a lot to get us there, but there will always be more work to do. There's always going to be another park that needs to be improved. The notion that anybody was promised for the last 3 years that we were going to go to rollback is silly. I think there's only 2 commissioners up here that were here 3 years ago. My promise to residents has always been that we will invest in the city and we will make it the best that we can. And I think that this budget does that by lowering a lot of people's tax bills, spending money on stormwater infrastructure, spending the money on our park infrastructure, spending the money on enhancing our fire department. You know, all of those things are things that I've heard from everybody that we need to spend more money on. They expect us to spend money on. And so if we can reduce our tax bill and still accomplish that goal of enhancing the city services, then that's what we were voted here for. Thank you, Mayor.
Any more comments? If not, we're going to go to a vote. Go ahead, City Attorney.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, before you vote, the Finance Director does have a required statement that he needs to read.
Understood.
Mayor, I apologize again for some of this I've already said, but I'm supposed to say it before we do the vote. With the recess of the first public hearing from Wednesday, September 3rd until Monday, September 8th, it is necessary to reschedule the final public hearing until Monday, September 22nd in order to allow for the proper notification in the newspaper. So we would have to have a special meeting on September 22nd to allow for that time. All notifications regarding the recess were made in compliance with TRIM. Everything was posted on the main city website, along with a page that we've posted all of the budget documents for this fiscal year 25-26 process. This rescheduled meeting will be considered a special city commission meeting. The fiscal year 2025-2026 budget commences on October 1st, 2025 and continues through September 30th, 2026 for the city of Deltona. The City Commission shall discuss the tentative millage necessary to fund the fiscal year 2025-2026 final budget for the city of Deltona. The city of Deltona is the taxing authority, and the current year taxable value for operating purposes is $5,671,597,678. The adopted tentative millage rate of 6.75 mils per $1,000 of valuation is a 3.06% increase in ad valorem tax revenues above the rollback rate of 6.594. I've placed on the dais for everyone this evening the cost of public records that I was asked to do on 2 individuals, along with every member of the commission. The average taxable value for a residential unit within Deltona next year is a little over $122,000 versus last year's $119,000. We're looking at an overall increase for the average residential property within Deltona of $6.84 for a 12-month period. As the Vice Mayor said, I only look at the Deltona portion, not the overall tax bill. We're looking at $6.84. Except for the mayor who rents, everyone else's taxes for next year did show a decrease over this year. So if I take into account all the members of the commission plus the citywide average, we're looking at a 55-cent increase for the entire year for the members of commission plus the average. So that's $6.84 for the average. I wish it was as simple as multiplying that by 38,000, single-family residential parcels. However, I said the 122 is the average, and that doesn't take into account the commercial properties, the Publix, the Lowe's, the Amazon fulfillment centers, etc. This increase in millage over the rollback rate is for funding of the operations, debt service, capital outlay, and capital improvement programs of the city of Deltona. Major changes from last year is as followed. AHAC funding of $343,000, stormwater lake remediation of $269,000, general fund debt reduction $333,000, fraud and compliance audit of $500,000, additional litigation of $1 million, 2 additional code officers of $149,000, 2 additional vehicles for the above officers of $72,000, 6 additional firefighters funded at 75% of a fiscal year of $534,000, sheriff's contract increase of $1.15 million. All other departments decreased with the exception of the public works due to the nature of their business, and the reduction of 12 positions within the city, 9 of them within the general fund, with a reduction of $772,000, plus the capital improvements funded by the general fund, land acquisition of repetitive loss properties of $1 million, fire training complex of $250,000, park capital improvements of $4.25 million, and the Catalina Boulevard and Elkham Boulevard elevation of the HMGP grant of a little over $1 million. $1 million. This budget includes all operating capital costs for fiscal year 2026. This budget includes the general special revenue, debt service, capital, enterprise, and internal service funds. The proposed citywide fiscal year 2025-2026 budget for all funds is $245,683,379. Thank you, Mayor.
Before you read the full proposal, we have Vice Mayor and Commissioner Avila Vasquez that want to speak. And then you can read the required motion.
Thank you, Mayor. So do we have this request that could be a slide or shown to everybody?
It'll be posted on the website this evening before we leave.
Okay, so just so everybody...
Without the addresses.
It's a public record.
No, it's not public record. It will not be posted. Zach, take care of this.
Yeah, we will ensure that all redaction is done properly and ensure that this is done compliant with the law.
Thank you.
Okay, so just to summarize what is in front of us, District 1 Commissioner's property value or tax bill is going down $2.93. District 2 Commissioner's property.
Point of order. You're going
Go
to
ahead,
disclose
Commissioner.
information
It's just the amount
that
of
he's
the
gonna
reduction.
come up with.
I just recommend.
You're gonna
Okay.
come up, so,
So clarify, I'll clarify without.
okay, and then after you, I call, all right? Thank you.
So just to clarify, out of all of us on here that own homes, everybody's tax bill is going down. It just proves the point that there are some exceptions to that, but they are few and far between.
Commissioner Avila Vasquez, can you click on your mic?
Thank you. You know, I try not to make too many comments when it comes to real estate taxes because I always get attacked. Because as a wife of a 100% disabled Vietnam veteran, we do not pay real estate taxes. Those are his benefits. I like to know, and even though it's public record, who gave permission to put my information on a piece of paper like this? Yes. Because I'm the only one in this piece of paper that has 0 on it. So even though it's public record, I never gave permission to put this on paper. If anybody wants to look at it, then let them go look at public records. And I'm tired. I was sent, because you guys like to bring up Facebook, I was sent a snapshot of a comment made by the vice mayor saying that if everybody in the city paid taxes, and more than 50% of people in Deltona do not pay taxes, I got news for you. That 50% are veterans who are 100% disabled. Those are the only ones who do not pay 100% taxes. So let's stop picking on the veterans, all right? Let's stop picking on them. And I'm always put in the spot. I'm always used as an example, and I'm tired of it. My husband spent 2 years in the war in Vietnam, and he's not even getting a piece of what he deserved. So let's stop this.
All right, let's bring it back. Can you please read the
I think, Mayor, just for correction, Mayor, the paper in front of you was not given out to the public. That was just for the commission, because a lot of comments are made that all the taxes are going up, thousands of dollars, as we heard tonight, and it was evident of when you look at the 7 leadership, this is the information, but it was exclusive for you. And as it was mentioned about putting online, the first thing we said is no addresses or anything else. Excuse me?
It was decided among you 3 to give it out.
For the commissioners to see what you're...
I was not involved in it. So it must have been you,
It was
the
in
mayor,
response-
and the assistant mayor.
I didn't know about it until tonight.
You're right.
It was a response when you hear, as you heard tonight, the statements that everybody's taxes went up thousands of dollars, people can't eat or anything else. It was an example for the commissioners to see. No, that is not correct information, but that was not information that was being put out to the public whatsoever.
All right, let's stop.
Well, it's all public record anyway, what taxes are and water bills and everything else, so it is not a secret that we gave that information anyway. Thank you.
All right, Vice Mayor, and then Commissioner Howington, did you still want to? No. Okay. Vice Mayor, and let's bring it back. We don't need to be having this back and forth.
So I want to be clear that my comment was not directed at any specific commissioner whatsoever. I greatly
That's
appreciate.
why my name is blank.
Well, I don't.
That's why there's no figures on my name.
I didn't know about this until
Oh, please.
it was actually just mentioned. But it is not true that 50% of the residents that don't pay property tax in the city are veterans. That's not factual whatsoever. And the fact that only 50%, or roughly thereabouts 50% of the residents are exempt from paying property taxes is the major contributing factor to why we do have the tax rate that we have. That's a fact. So I needed to clear that up. It has nothing to do with veterans. It's not an attack on veterans whatsoever. And in fact, I believe that there's a very small percentage that are veterans that receive that discount. Thank you, Mayor.
Next.
Can we please, Mr. McKinney, can you please read the required motion?
Yes, sir. To recap, for item 7A, which is the tentative millage, it's a motion to approve resolution number 2025-121, adopting the City of Deltona fiscal year 2025-2026 tentative millage rate of 6.7500 mils per 1,000 evaluation.
If I can please have the city clerk call the roll. You have to request your mic, please. Hold on.
Commissioner Villa Vasquez?
No.
We're not clapping.
Commissioner Caldwell?
No.
Commissioner Howington?
No.
Commissioner Santiago?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harriet?
Yes.
Mayor Villa?
Yes.
It fails.
The motion fails. All right, at this time, what we'll do is we'll take a recess, so the city manager with the city attorney can meet each commissioner individually. We're not going to have the fiasco we had last year. We're going to meet with each commissioner individually in the back. City attorney, do you have instructions?
For what reason?
Commissioner Avila Vasquez, I understand you're frustrated. He's going to explain it. We need to calm it down. All right, let the city attorney explain it, please.
So, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So if it is the will of the body, we can take a recess to allow the manager and his staff to meet individually with each commissioner to discuss a amended tentative millage rate that could be presented by staff in order to allow this to move forward. Tonight, it is a requirement, as Mr. McKinney noted, that the commission does have to pass a resolution enacting a tentative budget in order to meet state statute.
Excuse me, sir, I know this seems comical to you. This is not funny. This is not a game, it's not a joke. We're trying to conduct business, and you can make faces at me all you want. Respectfully, you're doing yourself a disservice. So I'm asking you to respectfully let us conduct business so we can try to get this figured out. Continue, City Attorney.
So we can take a 15 or 30-minute recess to allow those conversations to happen and allow staff to come back and present a revised tentative millage rate for the commission's consideration. You, as someone who was on the, I guess the side of the motion, could offer an alternative motion. So that would be the Vice Mayor and Commissioner Santiago, who were the maker and the second. They could offer an alternative motion at this time. However, if that is not going to be done, then we could continue directly to the recess.
All right, we have Vice Mayor, then Caldwell, then Commissioner Villa-Vasquez.
Thank you, Mayor. My only request is that if we do proceed with a recess to have individual discussions, that we keep the live stream streaming to prevent the false accusations of two people that were in this room right now that occurred last year.
Commissioner Caldwell.
Zach, is it state mandatory that we come to an agreement today, or is it?
So in order to meet state statute, you are required to enact by resolution a tentative millage rate.
Today?
Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that in order to make the prescribed timeline, it could be done at a later date. It all depends on the advertising deadlines of the newspapers. So I'm going to defer to Mr. McKinney.
Commissioner, the latest, in order to comply with all the notifications, would be Wednesday, September the 17th, to pass a tentative millage, which would mean that we would have to hold our final public hearing on Monday, September 29th. The only caveat to that would be, typically speaking, as we're in a particular season here in Florida, we could be impacted, you never know, and that then puts a caveat in it. And then typically the governor would issue an executive order that could extend it for typically the final public hearing. Usually the first public hearing occurs no later than September 15th.
So our 15-minute meeting is going to be just about the rollback or the millage rate?
Yes, sir.
And not the budget? Because I believe to get to where we want to be, the budget's going to have to be discussed also.
Yes, that's correct. So if you're able to come to...
Well, if the commission decides to roll back, then you're going to have to decide what projects you're cutting from the budget. So it would be related to both.
So we can accomplish that in 15 minutes?
No.
Okay.
But we can talk. Yeah.
Commissioner Vasquez. Go on.
I sort of have got my answer, thank you.
Commissioner Howington.
I just want to remind everybody that last year's budget had $1.1 million removed from it, but it was kept in the millage rate. So this year's rollback is already based on a trumped-up number from last year that had $1.1 million of unencumbered funds. That is enough to get us to a full rollback.
So I guess at this time, if Mayor, if you'd like to,
We're gonna go ahead and go into a to a recess to see how much time we can come. If we don't come up with something, then we'll have to obviously table the matter. So 30 minutes. Is this dais okay with a 30-minute recess? No, I thought it's 30 minutes in whole, right? Or did you want to do 15 minutes each?
That's what I thought they were suggesting.
Go ahead, City Attorney.
Yeah, I was suggesting we start with 30 minutes total, and then we can extend if needed.
All right, I'm
I
just
understand
going
that
to,
will be a quick conversations, but
expectation that everybody who's not speaking to whoever is staying away from the back, correct? Okay. We got a 30-minute recess. Meeting back up from recess. At this time, we're going to entertain a motion and a second. And we have Commissioner Howington is first. Commissioner Howington.
I'd like to make a motion
Go ahead, Commissioner Howington.
to adopt a tentative millage for the fiscal year 2025-26 at the full rollback rate of 6.5494 per $1,000.
There's a motion by Commissioner Howington. Commissioner Colwell.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Colwell. If we can please vote. City Clerk, you'll have to do a roll call. That's what my paper says, sorry. And if all the commissioners can just turn on their mics, and I'm just going to turn them all on.
Commissioner Villa Vasquez?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Is it not turning on?
Have a question. So if this motion fails, there's another motion. And then if that motion fails, there's another motion. Okay. No.
Commissioner Colwell?
No. Or yes, I'm sorry.
Yes.
This is for Dory's. Okay, yes.
Commissioner Howington?
Yes.
Commissioner Santiago?
No.
Vice Mayor Harriet?
No.
Mayor Villa?
No.
It fails.
Motion fails 2-4. At this time, I'll entertain, go ahead, Vice Mayor.
I'd like to make a motion.
Turn on your mic again, please, because I have to turn them all off. Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-121, adopting the tentative millage. Can I see your paper? The tentative millage rate of 6.70 mils per $1,000 evaluation.
Okay, there's a motion by Vice Mayor Harriet. Commissioner Santiago, you're next on the board.
Second.
There's a second. Can we please go ahead, City Attorney.
Yeah, just if you could please state the millage out to 4 decimal places.
6.7000.
Per 1,000.
For 1,000.
Thank you.
And for the resident that
Hold
said
on.
that it was written down, for the resident that said that it was written down, there's literally a script here. I just changed the numbers on it.
Okay. Is that good for you, City Attorney?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Commissioner Avila Vasquez?
This is what the millage rate that was discussed at the workshop, so that's what I'm going to agree to. Yes.
Commissioner Colwell?
No.
Commissioner Howington?
No.
Commissioner Santiago?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harriet?
Yes.
Mayor Villa?
Yes.
Okay, that passes.
Okay, the motion passes 4-2. All right, at this time, we're going to go to section B. If I can please have the city attorney read the next section, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So as we previously discussed this evening, we held a collective public hearing on both tab 7A and 7B. So this will be tab 7B, Resolution 2025-122, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Deltona, Florida, adopting the tentative budget for each of several funds and departments of the city for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2025, and ending September 30th, 2026, approving the tentative capital improvement plan, providing for appropriation and procedures, providing for scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date. And the finance director will have an updated total budget number for you based on the approved tentative millage rate of 6.7000.
Go ahead, Mr. McKinney.
Yes, Mayor. This budget includes all operating and capital costs for fiscal year 2025-2026. This budget includes the general, special revenue, debt service, capital, enterprise, and internal service funds. The proposed citywide fiscal year 2025-2026 budget for all funds is $245,407,034.
Go ahead. Just for clarification, what was the last number?
034.
All right. This time I'll entertain a motion to begin discussion, and then we'll go to, go ahead, Vice Mayor Harriet.
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-122, adopting the tentative budget for FY 25-26
Click it again.
in the amount of $245,407,034.
Commissioner Avila Vasquez?
I have a comment, a question, actually.
Please.
So with the millage that we approved, it eliminates a project, right? So this budget that we're approving, is that budget still considered in, is that plan still considered in the budget that we're approving?
No, he just reduced that out of the budget. Mr. McKinney, can you please go ahead?
Yes, Mayor. By reducing from 6.75 to 6.70, that reduced the budget by $269,401.
Okay,
It's for the stormwater lake remediation.
thank you. That's exactly what I was going to ask you to let the audience know. What project is it that we're removing to bring it down to 6.7?
That is correct.
All right, thank you.
We're waiting for a second.
I'll second.
Commissioner Santiago?
I'll second.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
I want to be very transparent. The discussion that we had was removing that and then looking, reevaluating that when we talk about additional, we have a workshop coming up, I believe, in October, November timeframe to discuss street lighting and some other things. And so we would revisit a more comprehensive plan for aquatic weed control at that time.
Okay, any other discussion from the dais? Okay.
Commissioner Avila Vasquez?
Yes.
Commissioner Caldwell?
No.
Commissioner Howington?
No.
Commissioner Santiago?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harriet? Yes. Mayor Avila?
Yes,
Passes 4-2.
motion passes 4-2. All right, at this time, we're going to go to section 7C as in Charlie. If I can please get the city attorney to,
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is an item for discussion regarding the resignation of the District 6 Commissioner. As per City Charter Section 57B2, quote, if, however, the remainder of the unexpired term exceeds 2 years, the remaining commissioners shall, within 30 days following the occurrence of such vacancy, by majority vote, appoint a person to fill the vacancy until the next regularly scheduled city election. And this is for you all to discuss as a body this resignation and any process that you may like to follow regarding appointment.
all right, just to set parameters, we're not going to do a motion right now. We're going to discuss this. I'm only going to ask, let's keep all the personal stuff out of this. This is the process on how we're going to elect someone. And Commissioner Avila Vasquez, you're up first, but just want to lay that out there. This is a discussion on the process and how we're going to implement it. Go ahead, Commissioner Avila Vasquez.
Thank you, Mayor. So we do have a process that has been working for many years, and I would like to continue using that process, which is having all the names of the people that have put in for this position, for the commissioner for District 6, and they get rated. So I would like to keep that process that has been working for us.
Just for clarification, that would also include the voting at the end, because that is the only thing the charter requires. We do the rating system, and then we all have to vote at the end.
No. No. We have a rating system, and whoever has the lowest total is the one that gets elected. Because it goes, you vote from selecting. So if you have four people, you vote person 1, 2, 3, or 4, or to 1, 4, 3, 1, whatever. And then they total all those votes, and so whoever gets the lowest
Correct, but
number gets,
even then, we all voted for.
no, we don't vote.
We have.
That is,
Mr. Mayor, if I may, it is a requirement of Sunshine that there be a formal motion and a second on the floor in order to ensure that a system such as this would not be perceived as a secret ballot. So you may certainly use a ranking system, but you would still have to have a motion and a second to adopt the lowest or highest ranked candidate on the floor. So you can use that system, but there would still have to be a verbal vote on the floor in order to meet the requirements of Sunshine, just as a slight nuance to that.
Joyce, is that part of the voting?
Click on
Thank
the
you.
mic. Just so everyone else can hear you, hold on. Go ahead, Joyce.
Right, so once you rank them, and the lowest person would normally have gotten the first vote, in the past, you've done a motion for that person and a vote for that person. So it does include the motion and the vote.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Commissioner Colwell, you're up next, and then Vice Mayor.
My questions were along the same lines as Ms. Avila's here. So we did have a vote at the end when we voted in the two commissions. I don't believe that we'd had that, but that's all I have.
Joyce, can we verify it? Because I remember, like with Troy, we all voted. I think only one person voted against Troy. Yeah, so just for clarification, please. All right, Vice Mayor Harriet, you're up next.
Thank you, Mayor. As one of the commissioners that was appointed through that process, and I'm going to be very,
I voted against you.
I want to preface this with, I will speak personally about myself, and none of my comments are about any commissioners that are on the dais. As somebody that went through that process, was ranked, was voted on, ultimately appointed, seeing that process for myself and another commissioner, I know for a fact that there are ways to game that process, and I truly believe that that process was gamed in that instance, those instances. For that reason, I do not support using that process. Ultimately, it requires a vote at the end regardless. I would prefer to see dialogue amongst us and then a motion made by somebody on the dais and then a vote.
Any other comments? Commissioner Santiago.
I agree with Harriet. The system is flawed. When you do the ranking from 1 to 4 to 1 through 6, personally, I had, when I submitted my application, that system was flawed. It was evident. Because I had the support of 4, but yet they still voted for the lowest. So kind of the way the numbering system worked, it was very flawed. So definitely do not agree with it. I think we should just stick with the voting. I think it's easier, it's cleaner, and it gives the commissioners a more, you'll see who supports the District 6. I think it's just a fair way to do it. Thanks.
Any other comments before we go to motion? Commissioner Howington.
We saw what happened with the voting when we did the vice mayor vote, and I believe that there's some people out in the audience who would contend that that was gamed as well. So either way we do it, there's potential for risk, obviously. We've done it this way. We hired attorneys this way. We hired a city manager this way. We brought in at least one currently sitting commissioner, as well as 2 previous in the past 4 years using the other process. So I agree with Commissioner Avila Vasquez and Commissioner Caldwell.
Commissioner Vasquez.
Thank you,
Avila
Mayor.
Vasquez, sorry.
And as far as being, it's a public records item. Anybody can request to see who voted for who. So it's not like it's a dirty or used to make illegal or whatever vote. The process is you vote one through whatever number of people are there, 1, 2, 3. 1 will be your favorite, 2 will be your next favorite, 10 will be, I don't want that person, and then they add it up. And whoever gets the least means that they were voted number 1 or number 2. That's how it happens. And that's how the person gets selected and then, I guess, made a motion on.
Can we go to public comment, please, because there's nobody else on the board.
Kathy Bryan, please.
Ms. Bryan, when you come up to the podium, just push the button so I can open the mic, please. Thank you. And then you can leave it on.
Tonight. Okay, thank you. Kathy Bryan, Deltona. I'm not going to disagree with Dory because that was the first thing I thought when you talked about the system being gamed by rank. Any system can be gamed, let's face it. With the ranking, there's a little bit of a paper trail. And then I think you get a general feeling of more than just one person that somebody makes a nomination for quickly and then y'all vote. You could vote them down, but this gives you at least a couple of options up at the top. So if you decide maybe the top option's not the best, then you look at the second one. I feel like it's a fairer way to do it in a system that sometimes there's just no fair. Because I feel like there's already been a lot of hanky-panky with this one already, just from different things I've read, different things I've seen, etc. So, that being the case, please leave politics out of this. And I'm saying that to every single one of you. And even those of you who say I don't do politics, because this dais is one of the most divided ones I've seen in a long time. And I know we've had others that have been. Who is truly going to look after the best interests of District 6? Not what you guys want for everywhere else, not what you want for District 2, not what you want for District 5, not what you want for District 1. Who's going to take care of District 6? Because I'd really love to see the push to keep Deltona wild go out there, if possible. The other thing is who's the best person for the job? Who's got the most background? You know, not going to be starting fresh, having to learn a bunch of stuff. We all do have to learn, but who's going to be somebody that's had some experience in business or in government, etc., that can come in and get things done? I'm not touting for any one person at all. Half of those people I saw on the list I have never heard of. But think about who's going to be the best for not just District 6, but for the city as a whole too, because let's face it, every single one of you votes on things that affect all of our lives. So think about that, think about it hard, and may the best person win for the job. Thank you.
Thank you. Lori Warnicki, please.
Good evening, I'm Lori Warnicki, and I live in District 6, and I would hope that you all, I've met every one of you, I've talked to every one of you, I would like you to find someone to replace Nick that stood up like Nick did. I felt Nick had our back. All I had to do was email him or text him, and he had an answer. I appreciate all you're doing. I would love to see you come together and put someone in that position that will help the residents and that will show up for Pie Night. Thank you.
Thank you. David Sosa, please.
All right.
Dave Sosa, former commissioner for District 6. When I heard about Nick's resignation, I decided I had to step up and fill these last 15 months before an actual election. I think it's important that the people vote for who they want to represent them. Unfortunately, during the way this is going to proceed, it's up to you guys to pick who would be the best person to represent District 6 and the city as a whole. Now, I understand you think the matrix system's flawed. I think the voting, just to nominate somebody and vote on them, I think that's flawed. I believe the matrix is probably the fairest way to do it. You use it, just like Ms. Maritza said, on a 4 scale, 1 to 5. If you got 5 candidates, lowest score wins. Okay? Now, I look forward to representing and serving the residents of District 6.
Thank you. Brandy White, please.
Brandy White, I actually didn't plan on speaking on this until we talked about the matrix system. And I find it very concerning that 2 people who admit that they were here due to the matrix system knew that it was flawed at the time, knew that it could be manipulated at the time, yet they had no problem with it then.
Thank you. Mayor, that ends public comments.
Thank you. Mr. Bryant, come.
Have better pacing than Elizabeth, come on. Okay. You know, any system that y'all make can be gamed because y'all are politicians. But that's the best y'all do is gaming stuff, no matter what it is. We just saw it with the millage rate. We just saw that. That was all gamemanship. Nothing more, nothing less. If you don't believe it, then you shouldn't be in that seat. Here's the thing you really got to think about, though. If you think it's gaming, then call it out. If you really think it's being gamed, call it out. I went through this process. I literally watched this process. Did I know who was voting for who prior? No. But I had a good guess. And you know what? The man that sat up there, that I could have been sitting up there, I thanked him every meeting he was here. You know why? Because it was a crap shot. Every shot, it was just a crap shot. At best. And he knew it. He knew that there was personalities up there that just wouldn't let things go. I commend Nick for lasting as long as he did. He stated it 3 or 4 times that y'all won't let him be professional. For a commissioner to say that during a meeting should mean something to y'all, but it doesn't. None of y'all. Instead, we got people calling people stupid up there. That's not professional at all. It's okay for me to stand here and yell at y'all, to call y'all names and or otherwise as a commissioner. That's my job. That's not your job. I can call you a lazy commissioner, whether you like it or not. I can. It's just the way it is. But do I make it personal against you? No, because I know better. But y'all do. Y'all make it personal. She can attest to it. She was called a hooker by another commissioner at one point in time, and a drunk by that same commissioner. That's crazy. That's unprofessionalism. So if you want to game the system, as you just pointed out, you go ahead. But remember, this isn't for you. This is to represent them in District 6 and the rest of us. Because whether y'all like it or not, each one of y'all actually represent all of us. Because you vote. When you vote for all of us. Because what you do affects all of us. So I thank my lucky stars every day that I wasn't put up there. Because the only man that can tell me I can't say something is him. Not you, not you, not you, not you, not you. Only he can. And I don't get out of line that often with what I say. I don't need to. There's no reason for me to. You're a mayor. You're a vice mayor. You're commissioners. You're commissioners. Act like it for once. It's easy to game any system. It always has, always will be. You can go down to 7-Eleven and even game the lottery nowadays. It's all over the internet. You can game that by throwing an AI system and have them check all the numbers. It's fairly easy. All the common numbers always come up. Whether you win the big one's not still a question, but you can still game it. At the end of the day, the only thing that should be important to you is this person going to represent the people? Not you, not your politics, the people.
Thank you. Mayor, that ends public comments.
Vice Mayor Harriet, you're up next.
Thank you, Mayor. I feel the need to clarify that it wasn't until the last few weeks that it was apparent that this process is manipulatable. And so it's I think more transparent for us to have a conversation, have somebody make a motion, have discussion on that person, and then move forward with a vote rather than hide behind a matrix that can cover up a lot.
Right, does anybody want to make a motion and a second? Commissioner Avila Vasquez.
I make a motion to keep the form that we are currently using to select the next District 6 commissioner.
Is there a second? Can you click on your, go ahead, Commissioner Caldwell.
Second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor and a second. Can we please vote? Motion passes 4-2. So that is the system we're going to use. All right, we're going to go to the consent agenda item. Is there any public comment on consent agenda?
Mayor, if you don't mind.
Mayor, just want to correct, as the attorney and I are talking about it, recommendation by the commission, we put out the application in the next day or two so that you know what you're looking at, the process, not just, okay. So we'll put something together.
Because we have until the 30th, is that not correct? We have a limit on a date,
30 days.
30 days from the moment of resignation, per the charter.
Yes.
Okay.
Go
ahead, City Attorney.
I have a clarification.
Go ahead for the clarification.
I'd like to make, is that even through this process, that doesn't automatically.
Still have to vote.
Okay, that's the clarification I want to have, is that it doesn't automatically assume that that person will be voted upon. We still have to vote at the end of the process.
Correct me if I'm wrong, that is a charter requirement. So we'll do the matrix and then we vote for that person. Not the matrix part, but the voting part is a charter.
Voting is a requirement of the Sunshine Law that
We don't have to vote for it.
prohibits secret ballots. And for clarification, 30 days from August 27th, which was the date of the email that was sent, is Saturday, September 26th, 2026, or 2025.
I mean, I'm sure then we can get to this a little bit later, but I'm sure the commission would be okay with doing the meeting. When do we have the next meeting? The 20.
Yeah, so you'll have one scheduled for on the 22nd for your budget, and then after the 26th, since that does fall on a weekend, you could do that on the 29th, the Monday, if the 22nd doesn't provide enough time to get enough applications in.
Okay. And I guess you and the city manager will get with us on that. City. Robin, hold on. Go ahead, City Clerk.
So right now, there's no meeting scheduled for the 29th. It's the 5th Monday. We do have this special meeting on the 22nd. We could do before or after that.
What about the 15th? Do we not have a meeting on the 15th anymore?
And then we'd need a deadline for the ad, like how long do you want us to advertise? If we get it out the next couple of days, do you want the deadline to be like Friday the 19th?
We can, staff could figure it out. I'd shoot for the
Yeah.
22nd to give people enough time to apply. Give them a couple of weeks, week and a half.
Yeah, I think we've done 2 weeks in the past, roughly.
Then the commission can decide that night, looking
So-
at the applications.
Okay. Public comment on consent agenda. Oh, I got you.
Matthew Bergens, please.
Mr. Burgess, when you come up, just make sure you click on the mic so I can open the microphone.
UPS?
So I was looking over the UPS and the agenda items, and I see it's for 29,000, just below 30,000, and it's for Seminole County. I see that we're going off of theirs, and so we're not using the RFP. I see that we also have a company that we use to look up other things, so I'm just inquiring to see if we can look for other quotes, to make sure they're out there. I know Seminole County look for other quotes, so maybe we can use that, and so we can see what's out there versus just going off what Seminole County has. I know they have different infrastructure than what we have. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. So if you see they're using Seminole County's RFP, I know we have companies that the state uses. I've used it in Brevard. I've used it in Advent Health. I used it with the state of Florida, and they can get contracts. So that's what I'm inquiring about. I know it's $29,900, I think $79 is what we're quoted for the proposal. And so, like I said, I'm just saying if the IT department, I was talking to them during the break, and we had a conversation about it. It looks like a really nice a backup system for the IT, but is what Seminole County using it for, is that good for Deltona? And is it going to meet all of our needs? Because I see ours is 15 years old, but the RFP was for Seminole County. So that's, like I said, just getting something for making sure the quote we're having is sufficient for what we're using. That's all I'm asking. I see it's $10,000 less than what we quoted for as well. So I know we were talking about budget items earlier. That's $10,000 saved.
Thank you. Allison Root, please.
Hello, Allison Root, Deltona resident. I had a question regarding the Waste Pro contract. So the way it states is all residents are required to use Waste Pro for dumpsters as well. So I get they do, now don't get me wrong, I love Waste Pro. They do great on pickups and things. The debris, they got mine last year. Everything works well. My problem comes in that we're now, as citizens, contracted with Waste Pro for $588 for a 20-yard roll-off. So if I have damage to my home and I need to re-roof, according to your permitting department, when I pull my permit, I have to call Waste Pro and use whatever they say use. And if it's according to that Exhibit E, then it's $588 for a 20-yard dumpster. So if I'm cleaning out my house from flooding or re-roofing or anything like that, have to use Waste Pro. So my question is, are those contracted rates the same for residents? Because I'm not signing that contract, or is it just for you guys and they give me just as competitive rate? Because I can get dumpsters for anywhere from $250 to $400, depending on who I use and where I'm at. So that's my only question. Thank you.
Thank you. Brandy White, please.
Brandy White, Deltona. I also want to talk about the Waste Pro contract. I noticed here that it says that Waste Pro has requested the city consider an additional increase. So it's only taking your consideration. They're not saying it has to occur. I also would like to discuss the numbers that are presented, like the 13% increase over the previous year. I noticed that it talks about the CPI adjustments as well as the fuel cost. All of that was already built into that 7-year contract previous that was being requested to be extended. If you go back and watch the meeting from back then, all of that was addressed in that contract. I personally would like to see Deltona's P&L on Waste Pro. I think there's a lot more profit and that this increase isn't necessary. I also did a little bit of research on Waste Pro because I was a little concerned that they are so involved in our local elections. They like to do campaign donations to certain candidates who are going to vote on their contract. A lot of us call that a bought vote. I'm a little concerned that looking at the history of campaign donations, it's very specific, and anybody can go on there and look at those. It's not just say, hey, we do it across the board. These are not personal people donating. It's literally an entity that is donating to the campaigns of local elections that they have contracts in. That's concerning. I think it's very unethical for somebody to come before you who has put money into your campaign and ask you to vote for them. I don't know why you wouldn't have a problem with that. The numbers don't add up. There's not a loss in Deltona. There's already a substantial profit being brought in on Deltona. And to increase it 13.23% over the previous year for the 1-year contract, I mean, do we have to go back and talk about how everybody said, oh, it's only a 6% increase or it's a small decrease when we talked about millage? Well, here's another one you're doing. You're going to approve an additional increase that's going to hit. When we're talking about taking waste out of the budget, this is one of them. It's saying that they just want you to consider it. So I want you to consider saying no.
Thank you. Mayor, that closes public comments.
All right, we're going to go to a vote unless somebody wants to pull one of the items. So I'm looking for a motion and...
R.
Go ahead, Commissioner Caldwell.
I'd like to pull item R.
Okay. Vice Mayor Harriet, you're next. Vice Mayor.
I hear you. Sorry, Mayor. Okay. I'd like to make a motion with one change to item D is the UPS item. I would like to, I like that item. I would like to approve the dollar amount not to exceed, but I'd like to give flexibility to staff to look into what the resident brought to.
So let's just pull that item and then you can make a motion for the rest.
Okay.
So that's item D is in David and R is in Romeo are been pulled. So please proceed with your motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve consent agenda items A through
C.
S with the exception of D and R.
Or you can do that. And now I'll entertain a second. Commissioner Santiago?
Second.
All right, can we please vote? Motion passes 5-1. This time we're going to return to item D. Vice Mayor, you're up because that's one you pulled.
Yep. I'd like to make a motion to approve item 8B or 8D, excuse me, with an amount not to exceed $229,972.33, but also provide flexibility to staff to double check and make sure that they can't get a better deal
Okay.
somewhere else.
There's a motion by Vice Mayor Harriet. Is there a second? Commissioner Santiago?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Can we please vote? City Attorney?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just I'd like to propose an amended resolution title for this to reflect the intent. So this would be a resolution of the City of Deltona, Florida, authorizing the city manager or designee to approve the purchase of an uninterruptible power supply UPS and related equipment at City Hall from On Computer Services LLC or another vendor to be determined pursuant to a piggyback of Seminole County RFP 603794-20/BJC or any other similar solicitation in an amount not to exceed $29,972.33, providing for implementation at an effective date.
Accept the amendment.
Okay. Motion passes 6-0. At this time, Commissioner Caldwell, if you can turn on your mic, we're going to go to R's and Romeo. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Commissioner Caldwell, you're on.
I have a question for legal or city manager to start out with. I know our contract's getting ready to expire in a few weeks. If this was tabled or not passed today, would we have opportunity time before that to put it on a meeting?
So, because this is the solid waste fees are assessed through a special assessment, the last date that those assessments can be enacted is the September 15th meeting. So you would need to have an agreement on price so that that could be properly charged through the assessments by September 15th. If there are other negotiable items that you would like for staff to address, you can approve the price and provide direction to staff to continue negotiation on those other items and come back. But the September 15th is kind of your deadline as far as the price.
I have concerns mostly about, the increase obviously in what we're losing for that increase as far as administration fees. I know a lot of that was taken out and a lot of the responsibility of the Waste Pro as far as marking containers and their equipment that they use. The extension of the life of the vehicles is extended in the contract, so I have great concerns about that. So I would like to make a motion to table this until the September 15th meeting.
Motion by Commissioner Caldwell to table to September 15 meeting.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Avila Vasquez. Can we please vote?
Can I add to that motion? I'd like to direct staff to work with Mr. Redmond.
Can you please withdraw your second? Commissioner Avila Vasquez.
I just have to agree to his changes.
Yeah, okay, go ahead, Commissioner Caldwell.
I would like to have staff work with Mr. Redmond in negotiating these terms. And I don't know if we could have Mr. Redmond come up and speak.
Maybe, Mayor, if we could have staff speak also.
City Attorney.
Yeah, so you may certainly invite Mr. Redmond up to speak if you'd like.
After we vote?
Yes, and I guess as far as the tabling and the direction, do you want to clarify, you are directing the city manager to also
include
Mr. Redmond and contract with Mr. Redmond for those services?
Correct.
Wouldn't that increase our fees?
That would increase our fees?
It would.
Yeah,
increase. It would.
Go
The
ahead,
manager would need to have a budget established that he could pull that from. But
Can you please click on the mic? It's on.
So again, those fees would increase some because obviously we have to pay Mr. Redmond. Again, we had a contract originally with him. So yes, those fees would have to be added in some formal way and paid. The other thing is the conversations that we've had with Waste Pro on some of the items that we took out of that was the acknowledgement that as we take those items out of the budget, when those items are being issued as a citation, I'll call it that for better terminology right now, those items are still added back in the next year in the contract. So you may not be paying for that now, so we'll have a citation of $3,500. We reduce the invoice coming in. But next year, all of those different citations are taken into account. It's the cost of doing business and looking at that contract. So although those may have seemed credible in the sense of being charged initially, we don't see that with working and looking at the contract, that just to keep adding those back in year over year is an advantage. And then the other thing I would say is in negotiations and conversation, our expected number, if you want to look at the 13% or whatever it might be, we were still lower than our initial conversations with Mr. Redmond in reference to what he believed he could get for us. That was the only reason that we went out and worked with Waste Pro on our own. So we're very comfortable with that.
Mine's not so much as far as the cost at the end, but the accountability for them to do what they're tasked to do under the contract. Without having these administrative fees in there,
they're still accountable per the contract. They're still accountable. We still have a customer service person. We still have to answer.
They're accountable in which way? There's no cost to that if they violate.
There's always a cost to it. If they don't do what that we ask them to do, as a contract perspective, there's always the proper opportunity for us to cancel the contract, to go out to bid for the contract, to not renew it at the end of 7 years. You as a commission hold that option going forward into the next year. But to just say that we're okay with those fees continuing when we're one of, I don't know, two cities that we actually do that, maybe 3 at the most. It doesn't seem like it's beneficial for everyone to do that, so they're not looking at it from that perspective.
I think Mayor and Commission, maybe a couple of the fees we're talking about. So if the truck's brought in from another city that we need backup, and they don't tell us in advance, it's the same Waste Pro truck, then there's a fee charged to Waste Pro.
Right.
I don't think we should have a fee charged them by trying to make sure they do the job. There's a cleanliness on the truck. If the truck looks too dirty, then there's a fee charged. And Waste Pro themselves had said to us, we know you're charging these fees. They're not going to eat the fees themselves. So why are we charging fees for such minor stuff? Missed streets, missed garbage? Absolutely.
Yes.
And they have to pay those fees. They're absolutely going to pay the fees. But it seems like there's a lot of nickel and diming that was going on that seems insignificant in the overall scope of picking up garbage. And we are going to be paying those fees. That's like saying tariffs aren't charged to the consumers. Yes, we're going to pay those fees. They're not paying it themselves. So there are things that we did remove, but by no means did we remove the ability to actually charge them for missing garbage cans or missing streets, which I think is what most people are concerned about.
Right. Well, I mean, taking that out takes out the incentive for them to do the right job, I think. That's my opinion. I'd like to continue with my motion to table it. I don't know if it's necessary to have Mr. Redmond involved in it at this point, but I would like to see some of these administration fees talked about in a little more further depth.
So that you're asking us to look at the contract, the content of the contract and the fees, not to Zach's point, any of the other items?
I'm coming.
Yeah, I guess just for clarification, you're looking to table this to have staff look at adding back in some of the administrative fees that were taken out with this amended and restated to revert more to the previous.
That's correct. And there's also some verbiage that is incorrect in there as far as location for the gallons, the size, the containers.
Okay, yeah, we can take a look at those items and double check as far as the terminology.
I'll continue with my motion to table.
Okay, we got Commissioner Vila-Vasquez, that's next. Let me turn on your mic, give me a minute. There you go.
Thank you, Mayor. So, yes, I will continue with my second motion, but I also have a request. Can you add to the staff request? I would like to see the difference between last contract and this contract. What was removed? What kind of services were removed that will affect the residents? So I would like to see that as far as the services that we provide now and what will not be provided going forward with the change of this contract?
It's my understanding that the services will remain the same, that you will have the same level of service, but certainly your staff can provide that as part of the revised staff report.
Okay, but there are changes to the contract this year versus the contract last year, which will affect the residents. As far as number of trucks out there that need to be out there to service, stops, and stuff like that.
It's my understanding, again, that it's the same level of service, but I will certainly, your staff.
Yes, any changes,
Can identify that for you.
yes, any changes now versus going forward that will affect the residents of the city of Deltona in every aspect of the garbage area. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Harriet.
Thank you, Mayor. Have we looked at what the impact to the contract rate would be if we add in all of the enforcement mechanisms that were removed?
I'll defer.
Mr. Redmond, please give us a second. We're still waiting for staff.
And then I would also like to know, it's my understanding that I believe Orange City and possibly DeBerry have also signed contracts out with Waste Pro, or are planning on signing contracts with Waste Pro after going out to RFP, and what those, how we compare to those contract rates.
So yes, we did receive, we received the assessed costs, if you would like I said, I referred to it citations earlier. We'd have to break down each of those to look at the costs that would continue to be part of the assessed cost, because they would be true citations versus some of the others that we looked at. So we'd have to do a breakdown for that for you, but in conversation with Waste Pro, definitely some of those costs that are assessed, that we typically reduce the bill by and then provide to Waste Pro, and they acknowledge it and recognize it. And then when they look at it, they're like, okay, so these are the dollars we would add to the next year contract. So I'm sure that Waste Pro may have some of those numbers available to them at some point, so we'll get with them just to give it a rough estimate.
So what I'm hearing, sorry to cut you off, what I'm hearing is that if we add back in these enforcement mechanisms that were taken out, is that the contract rate will go up.
That's correct.
And that instead of the 13%, it'll be higher.
That would be correct.
Okay.
Yes. Did you have another question? I don't recall. I'm sorry.
It
Is that-
was,
yeah, no.
how does the negotiated contract rate compare to the municipalities that have gone out for an RFP?
John, do you recall the exact percentages? I believe Orange City was, they've gone out as well as DeBerry. I'm not sure if they both finished. I believe Orange City, but Waste Pro could answer that question for you and give you the numbers if they have those available for them.
Okay.
And they are here in the audience.
Thank you.
You good?
Good.
Commissioner Santiago?
I just have one quick question. You did mention, when you were making that presentation, you did mention that the city of Deltona negotiated, and it was less than what was proposed by Mr. Redmond. Is that correct?
So we did work with them quite a bit on and looking at the numbers at a type of service. Mr. Edmonds were just the initial numbers, so his initial thoughts were $4 more or so than what we originally came back with. Maybe it was just a little under 4, but it was a few dollars more than what we came back with.
Got it.
That is correct.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, there's a motion on the floor and a second to table this to the 15th. Can we please vote?
Mr. Redmond, please.
Bill Redmond, Redmond Consulting Group. I think there's a couple of statements being made that was incorrect. I initially talked with the finance director and the assistant city manager months ago, and we said that we thought maybe a rate around $16.50 would be somewhere in the ballpark. They came in at $15.94, so that's 46 cents difference. But that was prior to any negotiations with Waste Pro. As far as the nickel and diming on Waste Pro, that's incorrect because the amount of fines or penalties charged against them last year was less than 0.7% of their revenue. So if there's $15.94 wants to go up higher for administrative charges, it could only go up 0.7%. So when we have administrative charges that were working for us very well for the last 7 years, 60% of those have been removed from the contract without our knowledge. And we finally, when we downloaded the contract a week ago Friday and read through that, that's where we had some issues with various enforcements of the contract. If you don't enforce the contract, then I always said it's like raising children or herding cats. I don't know which is hardest. And we've had no turnover in our personnel for the last 7 years, whereas Waste Pro's had a lot of turnover from their drivers, their supervisors, and so forth. That's just the nature of the business. There's several things that got negotiated out of the contract that we don't agree with. It would affect service eventually. One of the things is the cap on the pricing sheet says 4% for 1 or 2 years. We have contracts that we oversee that's 4% through the term of the contract, and that should be a cap in the section 6, I believe it is, of the contract. So there's various portions of this contract that I think that we would be very advantageous to working with the city. We did have a contract with the city. We do have a contract with the city, and we would agree to allow that portion of our contract to be included in assisting the city without additional fees. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer. I've got 4 pages of notes of various administrative charges that have been removed that are pretty profound for the enforcement of the contract. So if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them for you.
Thank you, Mr. Redmond.
Excuse me, Mayor. Waste Pro would like to speak. Tim Dolan, please.
Tim Dolan, 2101 West State Road, 434 Longwood, with Waste Pro. Just wanted to address some of the comments that have been made. As far as a cap in the CPI, which Mr. Redmond just mentioned, there is a 5% cap in the CPI. It was agreed to with the city. It is the same cap that the city of Holly Hill and Mr. Redmond and myself agreed to here in the last couple of weeks with a contract that was extended, again, for the city of Holly Hill. So that had been addressed. As far as the administrative fees go, it was part of a multifaceted or a large number of items that we went back and forth with for about 6 months with city staff. You know, if somebody wants to go down those one by one, I would be happy to sit with whomever, but the reality of it is the items that were taken out, as were mentioned, so if, you know, there was a fine in there if I don't have a rake on the truck, okay, that was taken out. There's a new fine that was trying to be entered into the agreement that if my guys dump the cart, if they don't turn it a certain direction, I'm now going to get fined $100 or $150 for the cart being turned in a certain direction. That's something that you currently fine us for that's not in the contract, and we've unsuccessfully tried to push back on that. But that's simply something we do so when we're riding down the street, we can see whether a can's been serviced or not. That has absolutely no impact on the resident whatsoever when it comes to is their can being serviced or not. Some of these were duplications. There's a fine in there for missing paperwork deadlines, and then there's another fine in there for missing a different paperwork deadline, and then there's another fine in there for missing another administrative deadline. So there were multiple fines for administrative deadlines where there is a catch-all fine. If we miss an administrative deadline, we get fined. So the idea was not to, not to pull a fast one and try and scrape a bunch of stuff out, but there were, gotcha fines in the contract that, as part of the conversation with staff, it was agreed that as the overall financial consideration that those would be taken out and they wouldn't affect the service. And as far as the service goes, just to answer that question, there was no effort in this to reduce the level of service to any of the residents in the city. We essentially took the contract that was in place, cleaned it up a little bit, combined an addendum or the first amendment that had some commercial services in it. We combined those, scrubbed it, gave it back with, again, language to clean things up, but from a service level, just to address Commissioner Vasquez, we did not reduce service whatsoever in this contract and had no intention of doing so. So if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you. We're not here to deliberate. We're not, this is not the place for that. So we have a motion on the floor in a second. Can we please vote? And this is to table to the 15th. The motion to table fails. At this time, I'll entertain a separate motion. Vice Mayor Harriet.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-123, awarding an agreement between the City of Deltona and Waste Pro to provide solid waste collection services.
There's a motion by Vice Mayor Harriet. Is there a second? Commissioner Santiago?
Yes, I'm going to second it. However, I do want to state that this contract is negotiated less than what Mr. Redmond was proposing. If we move forward to September 15th, there's a possibility that it may go up. We don't want to make it go up, trying to save the city money. The level of service will still remain the same. So I'm going to second it.
There's a second on the floor. City Manager and then City Attorney.
Just a couple of things. Just one of them is, several times it was said we cannot enforce the contract. We absolutely can enforce the contract, and I believe that was said at this microphone here also. So it's not a question of if someone's garbage isn't picked up, for some reason we threw that out. No, that's absolutely enforceable. The other thing I think that needs to be said is Mr. Redmond's done a good job with his company all these years, but his existence, really, his company is to go after every fee he could possibly get. He won't do too well the company-wide if it's really just picking up an empty can here or there that was missed or a road that was missed. So the more fees that our city puts into the contract, the more that Redmond Services has to go after Waste Pro, and we're looking at an existence that exists because it exists. So not that we're getting rid of Bill and his company here, but I feel it should be stated that when you bring in new staff like myself and the other staff, we do look at things upside down and backwards, and we start to look and technically check and see that, somebody's existence is to make sure that we charge more and more fees. If we don't charge those fees, then that existence doesn't really exist as much. But is there really a need for those fees? It does not hurt services. The citizens do not miss out on anything that we've removed from the contract. We just made it more of a professional contract and not a contract that looked for everything we could possibly get from them. That's just inappropriate in business. Thank you.
City Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Know that there's a motion on the floor to approve the resolution. I just wanted to read it into the record. So this is resolution number 2025-123, a resolution of the City of Deltona, Florida, authorizing the city manager or designee to execute the amended and restated agreement with Waste Pro of Florida, Inc. for solid waste collection, disposal, and transportation services in accordance with RFP number 18021 and the exclusive commercial solid waste franchise, providing for implementation and an effective date.
Can you please vote? Motion fails 3-3. Recommendation, City Attorney?
I would recommend that I believe a motion to table is probably appropriate in this case, since there's clearly not a will to approve the contract as presented. And I don't believe that staff and Waste Pro will be able to successfully negotiate and revise this contract in a recess, of less than several hours. So I would recommend that if the commission is willing to table this to a date certain of September 15th to allow staff and Waste Pro the time to continue looking at this, that would be appropriate.
City Clerk, we already have a scheduled meeting for sure on the 15th, right? Okay. Commissioner Vasquez, and then Commissioner Howington.
I move to table the Waste Pro contract until the next meeting, which is the 15th of September.
There's a motion by Commissioner Avila Vasquez. Commissioner Howington, you're on the mic.
I'll second, but I would like to just ask a question.
Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Is there an opportunity for us to potentially extend the current contract so that we can get a comfort level with the commission and potentially get that 7th seat filled so that we don't have this constant 3-3 voting? Is that possible? Can we possibly work with Waste Pro to do that?
We would have to speak with Waste Pro. It may be possible if they're amenable to do a 1-year extension.
Well, I mean, maybe even just 3 months, something so that we can move forward in the interim.
Mayor, Commission, if we are unable to successfully negotiate this by next Monday, we would have to place this on our monthly utility bill versus the tax bill. Just based on the information received from Waste Pro, the costs are going to go up. And if we don't have something firm on an assessment rate by Monday evening at 11:59 p.m., we would not be able to have this on the tax bill for next year.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let's go ahead and vote. There's a motion to table it to the 15th and a second. Motion by Commissioner Avila Vasquez, second by Commissioner Howington. Motion passes 4-2. All right, if I can please get the city attorney to read 9B as in boy.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is ordinance number 34-2025, an ordinance of the City of Deltona, Florida, amending Section 110-319 PUD Planned Unit Development of Article 3 Establishment of Classifications and Official Zoning Map of Chapter 110 Zoning to reduce the minimum parcel size required to establish planned unit developments and Table 1 Permitted Use Table of Article 3 Establishment of Classifications and Official Zoning Map of Chapter 110 Zoning to update uses in planned unit developments, providing for conflicts, codification, severability, and an effective date. This is essentially a cleanup of the PUD's chapter that was recently amended. One of the items that staff identified was this minimum parcel size, because there are certain areas of the city that require a PUD in order to implement, including the Osteen local plan area, which includes many undersized parcels. It is staff's recommendation that the 1 acre parcel size be adopted rather than the 5 acre parcel size, which is basically returns you to your previous state of your code. And I'll let Mr. Smith
This
speak to any
time,
additional
I'll
changes.
entertain a motion before we get into discussion. Is there a motion on the floor? Commissioner Santiago?
I'll make the motion to approve the proposed amendments to Section 110319.
Sir, second. Going once, going twice. Vice Mayor Harriet,
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment on this? Okay, go ahead, Jordan. Please click on the podium button.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. So Mr. Good explained this item fairly well. There's two changes to this code amendment. The first is we're reducing the minimum PUD sizes to 1 acre, and then we're updating the table for the permitted uses table to clearly outline the permitted uses. The Planning and Zoning Commission, the Planning and Zoning Board reviewed the item on August 20th, and they voted 7-0 in favor. They recommended the Commission approve this item, and staff recommends approval of ordinance number 34, 2025 at first reading.
Just for clarification, you said the P&Z Board voted 7-0 to approve, correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
All right, if there's no discussion, can we please go to a vote? Motion passes 4-2. All right, we're going to go to 10A, action item. If the city attorney can please read the action item.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is resolution number 2025-92, a resolution of the City of Deltona, Florida, approving the Community Development Block Grant Public Services Awards for program year 2025-2026, authorizing the city manager to execute subrecipient agreements with the top-ranked respondents to the notice of funding availability, providing for implementation and an effective date.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion. Commissioner Avila Vasquez, you're on the board first.
Yes, I'll have a question, though.
Okay, let's, I'll come back to you with your question. Commissioner Santiago, I'll leave your mic on, by the way.
Yep, I'd like to move to approve, make a motion to approve resolution number 225-92.
Okay, thank you for using the recommended motion. Is there a second? Vice Mayor Harriet?
I'll make a second.
Okay, there's a motion by Commissioner Santiago and a second by Vice Mayor Harriet. Commissioner Avila Vasquez, you're on the board.
Thank you, Mayor. So I'm looking at the breakdown that these funds are going to be going to. And, you know, there is one organization on this list that services the City of Deltona residents, and that's New Hope, Hands of Hope. I can tell you from experience that I have sent people to this organization for rental assistance, not rental, utility assistance, boarding assistance, emergency and stuff like that. And it's sad that sometimes they don't have the funds to help our residents, local Deltona residents. So I would like to ask if we can award them exactly what they're asking for, by reducing the other organizations, because I can tell you that even what they're asking for, it's not even going to be enough for them to service the community.
Yes, ma'am. So these are based off of what the commission approved as a recommendation on the June 7th board. And I believe you specifically asked me if it was a recommendation, and I said yes, it was, and we would bring the actual amount back for commission approval.
Okay, what you presented was the total amount to be sent to, what is it, HUD?
The annual action plan,
You
correct.
did not give us the breakdown of who was getting what.
This spreadsheet was actually an attachment to the annual action plan, which goes with the annual action plan to HUD.
Correct.
So this was in there with the same breakdown.
Well, then I must have missed it, because normally, when this comes to us, commissioners or prior commissioners would make recommendations of where to shift the money to where they thought would be best suited and best used.
Correct.
And we've always said that we take care of home before we take care of our neighbors, right?
Correct.
And New Hope Hands is one of those organizations here in the city of Deltona that are 24/7. I can call these people at 3 o'clock in the morning and they will be out there to service whoever needs the service, whether it's to pick them up and take them to a hotel or to bring clothing and stuff like that. So you know, I'm making the recommendation or the request, if they can, you can increase their, to the full amount of what they're asking for, which is $25,000, which I can tell you it's not even enough, you know, of the funds that they need to fulfill all the needs in the city of Deltona residents, just city of Deltona residents.
Okay, that is the commission's prerogative. Depending on how this passes and what stipulations y'all put on it, we can readjust totals and the agreements that are getting ready to go out for signature for an October 1st effective date.
Point of order, Commissioner Santiago, would you like to amend your motion?
Yes.
see, okay.
Well, I'm just agreeing with Commissioner Maritza Vasquez. You are correct. There are two that are not in the city of Deltona, and I think we're looking at a $10,000 difference for New Hope, an additional 10. Can we remove 5,000 from the neighborhood center and 5,000 from Early Learning Coalition and add it to New Hope, which does about the same services, but it's here in town? So can we do I'd like to make a motion to reduce that. Is that okay?
So city attorney's trying to figure out so you're going to have to redo your motion?
Can we please work with Maritza through discussion to make sure that this is what she's looking for?
That is,
Hold on, I promise I'm getting to you. Go ahead.
sure, that is exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking that New Hope gets awarded exactly what they're asking for.
The additional 10,000, correct?
Correct.
Well,
Okay.
Well, it's less than 10.
It's the change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We split the difference
Just to make up the
Between the two that are
25,000.
not
between the neighborhood
in
center
Deltona.
and the early learning coalition.
City attorney, can you give us a viable motion so Joyce doesn't look at me with those sharp knife eyes that she's looking at me with? Go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So essentially, your motion would still be to approve resolution number 2025-67 with the New Hope, Hands of Hope Housing Assistance recommended award being increased to $25,000 and the deficit being taken equally from the recommended award to the Neighborhood Center of West Volusia and the Early Learning Coalition of Flagler and Volusia Counties, Inc.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's just resolution 92.
So resolution 92.
Thank
Okay.
you, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor, are you okay with that? With doing the second on that?
Yes.
Okay. Before we move on, I know Caldwell's on the, give me a minute. I got to remove people from here. Go ahead, Commissioner Caldwell.
So just so I understand it, in the past, we've all voted on where the money is directed through this fund. And by voting yes on this, it'll give the city manager the power to dictate where the funds are allocated?
No, the funds are allocated based off of this spreadsheet that was included with the annual action plan and that you're amending on tonight's decision. The city manager is only directed to execute the agreement with said public services.
All right, is there any, while you're looking that up, is there any public comment? Just to make sure. Got it. Are there any other questions, Commissioner Caldwell?
Mayor, I've got those numbers.
She gave it to him, the same thing.
Okay.
All right, can we please vote? Motion passes 6-0. This time, City Attorney, do you have any comments?
No, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much.
City Manager, any comments?
Nothing, sir, thank you.
Okay. We're going to go to City Commission comments, requests, and reports. We'll start with Commissioner Caldwell.
Yes, I have a question about the maintenance of the lake, handling the lake maintenances in other cities. I would like to get some information on how they handle it. They handle it through the cities, the counties. Is there funding available through other municipalities and counties? And is there any funding available through our county? The other question I have is, it's my understanding that our lien department is being outsourced. Our lien department is being outsourced, is that correct?
Part of it, yes.
Part of it is?
Yep.
Is that something that needs to come before the commission?
Not that I'm aware of, it's not a cost to the city itself.
It's not a cost to the city? If we're outsourcing, how are we paying for it?
The people pay to use the service.
The people pay to use the service?
Yes.
And when you say the people pay to use the service, that's the people that are being fined, or?
If you're doing a lien, if you're looking for a lien, a real estate agent from your property,
Okay,
you would go through the process and you would actually pay a extra fee on top of what the city charges.
okay.
And it becomes an accounting issue of where we can go back in time, forward in time, making sure all the departments are covered. No longer is it a manual job. It's actually technology for the future.
All right, thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you.
Commissioner Howington? Give me 1 minute, sorry, go ahead. You turned off. There you go.
I don't have anything, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Howington. Commissioner Avila Vasquez.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. So first of all, I'd like to say and send a big hug to Chief Schneider. I apologize I didn't go to your retirement, but you live right around the corner, so it's not like you left us forever. And thank you for all the years that you gave the city of Deltona. You did a wonderful job. I want to invite everyone to come out on Saturday, weather permitting, hopefully, keep our fingers crossed. For the Festival of Nations, it's going to be awesome. We have 27, I think it is, dances. It's going to be right here in the courtyard. It's free, open to the public. Please come out and enjoy it. And I also want to invite all our businesses here in the city of Deltona to go, I don't know if it's in the city website, for the Deltona magazine, Best of Deltona Businesses. Sign up and put the posters in your businesses so people can vote for you. I know that I did my round in District 3. I still have some that I have to drop off with the posters and the table tents. So please, for those of you who do not have a business and you have your favorite restaurants, your favorite doctors, your favorite hairstylists or whatever, you know, vote for them. They deserve it. This is the first one held here in the city of Deltona, and they're going to love it. This is the way for us to show how we appreciate them being in the city of Deltona. I can tell you that I think it's 15 or 16 mom and pop restaurants in District 3. So I'm pushing for them. Thank you, everyone, for being here, and get home safe.
Commissioner Santiago?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick, I again wanted to extend my deepest gratitude to the fire chief. I worked with him for a couple of years, and he officially retired. Thank you for your dedication, your leadership to our community. We're going to miss you, Chief Snyder. I also attended a Crime Stoppers annual event, and they did honor one of our local law enforcement deputies that's here at District 4. I forgot the name, huh? Deputy Graham. He was given an award. I don't remember the name of the award, but I know he's one of us, and he did great. The other thing is, I had the privilege to present to Sisters Build Network for Girls and Man Up Mentoring. I just want to thank Dr. Primrose Cameron on encouraging and inspiring our youth in our community. And that's all. That's all I have today. Thank you.
I was going to skip Vice Mayor, but go ahead, Vice Mayor.
I just wanted to, I know. I wanted to echo the same big thanks to Chief Snyder, and as Commissioner Santiago so eloquently put during your 10-minute long speech at the ceremony, that I hope he gets the opportunity to travel like he so much deserves. A big thank you to Deputy Graham and the Sheriff's Office for what they do as well. That's a well-deserved recognition for him. And then on Commissioner Caldwell's request for the lake aquatic weed control stuff, can we make sure that that's included in the workshop that is coming up on, I don't know the date, but it's the one that we had discussed talking about adding the aquatic weed control too. It's I think sidewalks are on there already, and street lighting, sorry, street lighting is the primary. Thank you.
Okay. I actually just have one request. Just one request.
I can't believe that's the smallest.
There's during the Florida League of Cities, we met a company called Sox Erosion Solutions. I know that I forwarded that information to city manager and staff, just so we have it. All I'm asking from the commission is if we can allow them to do a presentation, something short. It can even be at a workshop. It doesn't have to be at a commission meeting. They have very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Impressive stuff that they use to kind of help with the lake erosions that we have in the city. And since we're not getting any help from like the state, because we don't have a beach for beach restoration, I figured we can at least let them come in and do a report. Or if that's not the case, if staff just wants to, at least city manager, you want to reach out to them, whichever, it doesn't matter. So if it's okay with the commission, I mean, I'd like to get consensus for that.
I'd like to see a presentation.
Good. Commissioner Avila Vasquez.
Mayor, I just want to remind us that we used to do presentations during workshops instead of meetings because it takes less time at the meetings. You know, I mean, presentations that are just to give us information on something, not a presentation for a big decision that we have to make.
So I can adjust my request to specifically for a workshop.
Yeah, I think
A
it'll be good.
simple yes from
I'm
the
good.
commission? Yes? Yes. Okay. All right, that's it. Everybody have a good night, be blessed, and stay safe. Meeting's adjourned.